Welcome to Strange and Deranged. Today, we have issues on today's economy.
Living in America in 2025 feels like you're trying to breathe while someone's hand is over your mouth and they're charging you rent for it. As soon as you get paid, it's gone. You buy groceries and the bags are lighter. You fill your tank and the needle mocks you. Food's up, rent's up, insurance, utilities, coffee. I mean, even your damn toothpaste is up. Everything's up. Except the paycheck. And everything's also smaller. Shrinkflation? Yeah, that's the way they rob you while smiling in your face. You're not imagining it. Lots is smaller. Portions are skimpier. The price is higher, and you're supposed to eat it with a smile. This isn't bad budgeting. This isn't laziness. This is a rigged game where everyone at the top profits and everyone at the bottom is a slave. We're getting taxed, drained, and blamed every step of the way. If you feel it too, you're not crazy. You're just living in America in 2025. And it's fucking brutal.
Job. If you go get a job, they're gonna take my Section 8. Then you won't be able to get no Section 8. You're not going to get no job. They're gonna count your income against my Section 8 and my link card. You're not working. No. So I don't care what you gotta say. I don't care how you feel. You're not working. You're not going to get a job. You're not going to school. You're not doing none of that shit.
What, Mom? I'm saying how I'm supposed to be successful in life, Mom. So you basically telling me I gotta be broke to be successful. I gotta be broke so I can get Section 8.
You gotta be
so
broke so the government can help you.
So the government can help me. So you telling me I can't work no job, bro? Like that's like all my friends got jobs and live in nice houses. So you telling me I got to go through the same thing you went through
if you
to have a house?
Do any of that, they're going to take my Section 8.
How? What they be like?
This is why Section 8, food stamps, welfare, all these things get cut. This is exactly why. And you know what? Hey, shout out to the creator. Their name is blast.das.viral. And you know, it makes it hard for me to vouch for the people who genuinely need it. But when you see videos like this of people who are just blatantly taking advantage of, like, look at it. She's in a nice king size bed, maybe a queen size bed, living for free. She just said he can't go to work because they're not going to get Section 8 housing. Like, I can truly understand if they needed the support. I don't know her situation. We need a little bit more context to really dive into it. But she's telling him not to go to work because it's going to take her Section 8. What? What are Americans doing to be able to get system and support like this? What are Americans doing? Because being on Section 8 is for the people who genuinely need it. That's what the system is made to be for. Your veterans, your elderly, and your people who just genuinely do not have the amount of money needed to sustain a comfortable life, a livable life, a livable wage, whatever the case is. Whatever you want to articulate that's what it should be. Nah, then she's taking advantage of the system. And no hate against her. I'm not trying to like beat up on her or whatever the case is. And maybe this video destroyed her whole little plan because I'm sure the IRS is looking at this or whoever government system is looking at it because they're already knocking down doors just to get rid of this. But this right here is not okay.
Like,
You can go get yours at Eve. You can go get
They will look at that and be like he's doing something and give me a bigger house, Mom. That's what you taught me.
Where I'm gonna go?
I don't
have no job.
I can get off your Section 8 and apply for my own Section 8.
But if you do that, you're gonna have to go the hard way. It's gonna take a long.
So what? That's what I'm
Wait
saying.
2 months, get on Section 8, find you a nice apartment, go get you a link card. You will be fine. You don't have to sit up and work. You don't have to work no job. The government is here to help us.
There is no way I just sat there and watched that video. That video just blew my mind. So listen, I can't, you cannot make this up. You cannot make this up at all. But I decided to go to the comment section down below just to see, like, am I missing something? Am I disconnected? And let's check it out. We can just go through this together. You see it right here. So this should be used as proof to move her Section 8. Like, I get it. And that right there got almost 30,000 likes. This is why Republicans want to take away benefits.
The way the cost of living has gone up is fucking crazy. A 1-bedroom apartment is damn near $2,000 a month, which is crazy. Like, what? Food is steady going up, and it's just like, damn, what do y'all want me to do? Y'all want me to live on the street in a box and, eat out the garbage and drink my spit? Because at this point, that's what I'm finna fucking do. Because, no, I'm not finna pay for no $2,000 apartment and I'm barely in it, motherfucker, because I'm always at work trying to keep the motherfucker. So, I don't know.
what happens when your largest employer in town comes out. Hello?
This is people who work at a steel mill in Conshohocken will soon be out of work. Steelmaker Cleveland Cliffs has announced it'll idle the plant, 2 others this summer. The company says the decision is based on insufficient demand and also pricing. Cleveland Cliffs plant in Conshohocken has 115 employees. It's being idled along with another plant in Steelton, which is just outside Harrisburg, and a third plant in Riverdale, Illinois. The steelmaker says the idlings will start around June 30th.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm James Crummell. The oldest continuously operating steel plant in America is in Steelton. But unless something changes, that will change June 30th. Seth Packey, live in ABC 27 Newsroom with the latest on Friday's shocking news. Good afternoon to you, Seth.
Good afternoon to you, James. Yeah, Cleveland Cliffs said the idling of the big plant and elimination of more than 500 high-paying union jobs has nothing to do with tariffs. Within hours, other people were begging to differ.
You know, in Steelton, the birthplace of the Pennsylvania steel industry, some Fortune 500 company just announced another plant closure and laid off hundreds of Pennsylvania steel workers. And I thought all these tariffs were supposed to get the plants open, not the other way around.
This steel company is laying off thousands of workers, entire plants, just getting rid of all these people, destroying these people's lives. And guys, I'm gonna say it right now, the tariffs are a true reason of why they're laying off all these people. If you guys don't know, back on June 3rd, Trump placed a 50% tariffs on all incoming imports for all steel products, guys. And this is just what it is. It's raw materials, it's steel, it's anything that's being imported within the country right now. And it's very unfortunate because so many people voted for this, guys. So many people came into this and was like, oh, this is a great idea. Tariffs are going to create all these jobs. Tariffs are going to, make the country much better. But this is the result of it, guys. I have yet to see right now where they're creating jobs. They're opening up new facilities. I have yet to see. Now, I'm not going to come on here and say that they're not opening up any facilities. But what I will say is you're not seeing all these jobs that they're creating massively across the board. It's not happening right now. And this is a result of it. They're getting laid off. Now, of course, a lot of these people voted for Trump. A lot of people really thought that that was probably a good idea. A lot of people really genuinely sat back and was like, tariffs. That's going to bring the prices down. That's going to make the country much better. But this is where we are right now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button as well. Let's get to 100K together. Let's get to the rest of the video.
That was State Representative Nate Davidson, at Friday evening's Bernie Sanders rally at the Farm Show Complex, hours after the shocking announcement by Cleveland Cliffs. The plant has been there since 1866. It is one of 3 in America that make railroad tracks. I asked an expert whether the company's assertion, that this has nothing to do with tariffs.
So tariffs, they're affecting companies in multiple ways. So if you look from a railroad perspective, yes, any steel rails that they were to purchase abroad would now be subject to an import.
60% of the American public is about to lose everything they have. And it's about to get worse. The latest GDP numbers just dropped. The economy is officially shrinking. And this is no surprise. I warned you 2 months ago, but most people ignored it. Now brace yourself. Massive tariffs on Chinese goods, as high as 145%, are kicking in. That means everything you buy online or at stores will skyrocket in price overnight. Walmart shelves are starting to empty. Grocery bills are exploding. And families who live paycheck to paycheck, they're defaulting on credit just to put food on the table. If you're part of the 60% with little savings, listen closely. Now is not the time to spend. Protect your family's future before it's too late. Donald Trump? He's a billionaire. He won't feel this pain. Even if you voted for him, your reality is different. You need to be smart and prepare. Experts warn this downturn will deepen in the next quarter. What happens next could reshape America's economy forever. The question is, are you ready to survive the coming storm?
Guys, y'all ain't gonna believe this freaking crap. Me and my husband just left the grocery store, walked out there with not even 4 bags, and paid over almost $300 and something. Everything has just went up double. Like, what the heck, man? This is getting crazy. We can't even afford groceries anymore. My husband brings home not even $500 a week. And we can't afford this freaking crap. And we went to fill out for freaking food stamps to get help. They denied us. They said he made too much. Off of not even $500 a week. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. We can't even get help. But that's not the point. My husband, he works, and I can't work. This is getting out of control.
$700. $700.05. That is what I just spent at Walmart to buy groceries for my home, to buy our essentials. Like, I didn't buy anything wild and crazy and extra. The only thing that I would say that I bought that was extra was I bought a couple of those cheap t-shirts that are like the $5 t-shirts in the kids section because my daughter loves them. Or two of my daughters love them. And then I bought a pair of $7 black shorts for my daughter because she needed some. So that wasn't even extra because she needed some. And I bought me a pair of shorts. $700. I can't afford this. Like, I'm a teacher, and my husband also works for my school district, and the cost of living has gone up so freaking much, but we're not raising teacher salaries. We're not raising them. We're not making them match what is happening right now and how much everything has just skyrocketed. Like, it's getting to the point to where we have to choose, are we paying this bill or are we feeding my kids? And I will choose to feed my kids every freaking time. I don't care. I just can't. I don't care anymore. But now it's going to get to the point to where it's like, okay, we don't have a vehicle. I guess we're walking everywhere. And I get so mad when I get people on here that is like, well, get another job. I do. I have another job. I have 2 other jobs. I am a photographer, which is really not getting any business because nobody can freaking afford it. Doesn't matter if I change my prices or not. And I also do Spark delivery on the side as much as I possibly can, which makes me then gone for my family all day long and not making enough to still make ends meet. My husband is doing other side jobs. Like, we can't afford this anymore. And I'm so tired of, it's not like, I don't even know how to say it anymore because I'm tired of beating around the bush on like the politics about it. I don't care anymore about all this extra stuff. Like, you know, I just want to be able to afford to feed my family. 2 years ago, this would have cost $350 and that still made me want to choke. $700.05 is how much I spent at Walmart today to try to feed my family, hopefully for the next few weeks. Our politicians need to do better because the average American family cannot afford this anymore, and our children are going to suffer. And I just can't.
Okay, I just got done with Walmart. If you saw my video just a little bit ago about how much I spent for just 29 items, I had to use my credit card because I couldn't afford it. I'm a single mom. Come on, people. Trump, everybody, lower the grocery bills. We gotta eat. We gotta feed our kids. Come on, really take this seriously. Trump, the administration, anybody listening, please lower the grocery bills. We can hardly afford this stuff anymore. Thank you and bye. This is my rant for the day of Saturday. Bye, guys.
We're here in Florida on vacation. We just got back from Publix. We were like blown away by the prices at Publix. I don't know where other people are shopping at, but we thought the prices were so high compared to where we're from. Like the prices of a Starbucks instant coffee, like a little tiny thing was $13. On my last video that I did about grocery shopping, everyone said to go to Publix because it was more affordable. I don't know. I'm like, wow, we were like blown away. So we spent almost $300 for 4 or 5 days in Florida. We did get some nicer beer, obviously wine, some nice seafood to cook out tonight. But besides that, I mean, just in general, the prices were expensive. We're like, oh my gosh, how are people like feeding more than 1 or 2 kids here? I have to mention the pepper. The pepper my husband got was $4 for 1 pepper, not organic.
How come no one's freaking out harder about how high grocery prices are right now? In 2020, my grocery bill was $100 to $150 a month. Now, it's $300 to $350 a month. And now, I don't even buy meat. I can't afford it. I dumped Publix. I only go to Target because it's the cheapest option near me. I almost never buy the name brand stuff. This is beyond inflation at this point. This is just a full-on scam. Last week, I went and got salt, shaving cream, and a salad kit. Altogether, these 3 tiny things cost $10.31. A box of salt was $4. Like what? I could rub it on my skin and live forever? It's salt.
Hey guys, just wanted to get on here really quick and talk about the crazy price shock we are all experiencing when we go to the grocery store. Right now, specifically Walmart, you know, the low price leader of the country. They're not the low price leader anymore. I mean, I don't think so anyway. So the prices are really going up. Everybody is reporting about it. And you're seeing it across the board. It's not just food, it's pretty much everything. I know a lot of people have already decided not to go to Walmart and boycott it. But for those of us that have still been shopping there, we're, you know, seeing the price increases. And you're seeing it across the board. You know, this is not just Walmart. This is happening everywhere. It's happening at all stores around. And right now, there's not much you can do about it. What I would suggest is don't assume that one store is going to have the lowest prices, because you don't know anymore. Things are changing dramatically. So definitely shop around. Shop sales when you see sales. That's what I'm doing. And then also choosing to buy less, you know, so going more of the frugal route. And that's something that, you know, I'm not always that great at, because it is hard for me not to just kind of shop when I feel like I need something, and sometimes delayed gratification is hard, even for me. And I've been, you know, frugal for quite some time now, ever since getting married. But it's something that we need to do. It's like I'm not even buying much of anything, but yet I'm spending so much money just on groceries. So it's really getting rough out there, guys. I mean, with the way prices are going, can you imagine what they're going to be like in a year from now? You know, things never go down, they only go up. So what do you think it's going to be like a year from now? I think it's going to be pretty bad. I mean, I already can't hardly afford the grocery bill. So let's see what happens next. So let me know if you're seeing price increases in your local areas as well. I'm in Oklahoma and I'm seeing it here. And share down below what state you're in. I'd be curious to know. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next video.
In just 15 years, the cost of living in America has changed more than you think. The average home in 2010 cost around $221,000. In 2025, it's over $400,000. Rent in big cities has gone from about $1,000 a month to over $2,000. A gallon of milk cost $2.75 in 2010. Now it's $4.25. In 2010, a dozen eggs were $1.40. Today, they're over $3.50. Gas was just $2.73 a gallon in 2010. In 2025, it's closer to $4.20. Monthly utilities jumped from $120 to nearly $180. In 2010, a new car cost about $28,000. Now it's nearly $48,000. Health insurance used to cost $13,000 a year. Now it's over $22,000. Prices went up, but most wages didn't. What's changed the most for you since 2010? Share your comments below.
You're not going to believe how much they're increasing our rent. We just got the renewal letter. You guys, we live in a 426 square foot studio apartment in downtown Chicago. And our rent, okay, this year was $2,108. The previous year, it was $1,930. They want to increase it to $2,649. That's over $500 increase. I have no words. Like, where did they come up with this number? I mean, we had already made up our mind that we're not going to stay in the studio anyways. We are going to move and look for a new place. Hopefully starting next week, we're going to start touring apartments. But over $500 increase for a 426 square foot studio apartment. I think this is because a new company apparently bought the building, because we have new owners now. Like, we got a letter, I don't know, a couple of months ago that they are taking over the building. So yeah, I think that's why the prices are increasing this much.
I just got the updated lease offer from my landlord, and they want to charge me $200 more a month now. So $2,180. When I moved in, it was $1,695 4 years ago.
I'm at my wit's end. I cannot do this anymore. My mortgage company is denying my payments now, which is going to put me into foreclosure. They're literally forcing me into foreclosure because they're not accepting my payments. And they're saying that I am so far behind. When I went to the online portal and it said that I had, and this was weeks ago, said that I owned for June 1st. And I already had $477 towards June's payment. And I sent out the rest. Right, and I got a notification in my mail that I had to come pick something up at the post office, which I did, and it's my fucking payment. Because the bank has told my mortgage lender to deny all payments, forcing me into delinquency, forcing me into foreclosure. I can't sell my house because my real estate agent says because of the mold, it depreciates the value of the property. So they want to mitigate the mold, which is going to take months. It's going to take months to get an estimate. I don't even have the money to mitigate the mold, and I was going to sell the back 40 so I could get ahead on the mortgage, get the mold mitigated, build a tiny home so I could get out of the house itself, and I can't do any of it. I can't do any of it, and I'm so at my wit's end. I can't work any more hours because I'm already working 7 days a week. I just don't know what to do anymore. It's like a roadblock at every turn, and now I'm literally looking at foreclosure, which is, I can't afford rents. I'm paying $1,500 a month in a mortgage, and I'm struggling. I can't afford $2,200. I don't know what else to do anymore. I've tried everything and nothing is working.
Maybe moving back in with your parents is the new flex. And let me explain. Like, what if we stop for a second and just stop burning ourselves out on paying rent and paying all these useless bills on places that we don't even own? You know, you save money, you heal, you reset. You finally get to slow down. You finally get to move with intention and save some money. God willing, you got a good relationship with your parents. And I get it. Everybody's so quick to say, oh, you live at home, you live at home. But honestly, I think that is changing. I think that is quickly changing because people are realizing that this economy is not set up for you to live alone and for you to be single in this country. And honestly, I think it's smarter than struggling. I think it's smarter to stay home and make money and save money than saying, oh, well, at least I got my own place. Yeah, you got your own place, but you broke. Shit's changed. And I think we might have to bring back multi-generational housing because honestly, we Americans, we're the only one who live like this. We're the only one who clown each other for still living with our folks. It's honestly really stupid because if you can save a lot of money, you can combine your resources, you can get whatever you want. This consumerism, capitalistic society that America has brainwashed into our mind that you have to have your own everything is not normal and it's not necessary.
You know, I'm really glad to see that people are finally accepting more and more multi-generational living together with family members, because you really have to combat these high prices and people are getting pinched. And if you don't want to see yourself ending up homeless, then you've got to start to think outside of the box. If you're not having roommates, living with family, downsizing, you really have to start to think because people are raising the rents and it's harder and harder to afford these increases. Let me share with you the 10 cheapest states to buy a home in 2025. And probably renting a home is going to be cheaper in these states as well. So the first one is West Virginia, second Mississippi, next is going to be Arkansas, then Kentucky, Alabama, Indiana, Iowa, Ohio, Missouri, Michigan, and then some honorable mentions are Oklahoma, Texas, the rural areas of Texas, and Louisiana. So there are a lot of states there to definitely take into consideration. You know, you might be thinking, hey, I am not moving to this state or that state. That's okay, but probably on that list there might be a state that could be something to think about if you do have the means to. People have the ability now to also work remote, so if you could maybe start looking for a job that's remote and maybe that will allow you to relocate to another state or to start applying for work in another state and see if you can make the move that way as well. But I'm telling you, when there is a will, there's a way. And if you really think that you are in a state that the cost of living is just way too high, start thinking about if you can move to another state. And that's if you want to. If you don't want to, then maybe find a way to live in a cheaper part in the state where you are in right now. So I hope that sparks some thought. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let's have a conversation, and I'll catch you in the next video.
21, the median mortgage was $1,682. That's including taxes and insurance. Putting 2 children through childcare, $1,600 a month. 2 used cars off of the lot, $400 a piece per month. That's $800 in total. I have gas at $180. I have student debt for one person in the household at $300 a month. Power at $149. Food at $650. Again, a young family, formula, all of that. $137 for your phone bill and $400 for your health insurance, giving you a total in 2021 of raising a young family in America in a household at $5,888 a month. 2024, the median mortgage is $2,660, including insurance and taxes. Putting 2 children through childcare is $2,300 a month in total. Used cars, $900 a month in total. Gas, $410 for now for both of those vehicles. Student debt, $400 for one of the people in the household. Power, $198 per month. Food, $900 per month. Again, young family. Phone, $150 per month. And health insurance up to now $500 a month, giving your total monthly expenses for getting started with a young family in America at $7,368. Raising a young family in America in 2021, it would have cost you $70,656 a year. Following the same exact metrics, just now 3.5 years later, you'd be paying $18,416. That is almost an $18,000 increase in what you would have to make in order to raise a young family in America in just a 3-year span.
The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage in terms of like top earners in this country, $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car. And please don't hit me with the, you can go buy a car for, shut up, you can't, shut up, stop saying ridiculous things. An entry-level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance and they pay 5% into their 401k, because shut up, people should be able to put money into their retirement. Because if you're not doing it now, you're never going to get to start doing it later. So after those two things come out of their paycheck and their taxes are paid, they bring home $53,850 a year from a $75,000 paycheck. Average rent in my state for a one-bedroom apartment, because an adult should be able to live by themselves, $1,700. That car payment at 6% for an entry-level, very reasonable sedan, nothing fancy, that car payment's $579 a month. Car insurance, $240 or so a month for a lot of vehicles in this day and age. You're a young person, you've got a nice job, but the insurance companies still want to screw you over. Food. You only cook at home. You never, ever go out. You only cook at home and you only eat decent quality food, because a human being should be allowed to eat decent quality food. You pay $879 a month for that. You spend $250 a month in gas. You wear and tear on your car, $100 a month. $80 for your phone, $80 for your internet, $175 a month for your electricity, $70 for your water, $20 for your cash. You make $75,000 a year, and outside of a car payment, you have zero debt. Do you know how much money you have left over annually at a $75,000 wage? You do nothing. You don't own a Netflix. You don't go out on a date. You don't pay to go to a park. You don't go watch a movie. You do nothing. If you can't find it on the internet for free, you don't get to do it. If you can't cook it at home for your $800, you don't get to do it. You have $3,700 left over annually. That's like $320 a month. And there's going to be, well, that's $300. Shut up. Shut your stupid, contrarian, edgelord mouth. That's not a doctor bill, because God knows, just because we have insurance doesn't mean that we don't still pay far out the ass when we go to the doctors. People like to be entertained. They want to date. They want to... There's those of you out there that will tell somebody living like this on $75,000 a year before taxes that they are not doing what they're supposed to do, that they should get a second job, that they should get a side hustle, that they should get a better job. And the fact that you would look at somebody with no debt other than a car and say something like this to them means objectively you're a moron and you live in a fantasy world. This is unsustainable.
So y'all, I've been seeing all the Georgia Power people talking about their light bill being high, right? How about y'all come down here in Spalding County in the city of Griffin, and y'all see our light bill be $700, $800, $900, and it was before inflation, before shit got high. Just imagine how much our light bills is now, y'all. They've been doing this shit for years. Like, these people been busting our heads for years. And then guess what? They don't even give us an option. We can't choose Georgia Power, EMC. We got to get City of Griffin. We can't go nowhere else. And they're going to give us the highest amount. Like, and then you only got 1 week to pay that shit. 7 days, they cut your ass off. The fuck?
Do you realize that it costs money to exist anywhere in the United States? Like, there's almost nowhere you can just exist. You gotta pay money. It's either you're renting or you're paying for a mortgage. If you're gonna go anywhere, it's usually you have to drive or take public transportation. That costs money while you're on the way to the place you're gonna go, which you're gonna spend money at that place. Usually it's gonna be a grocery store, it's gonna be a gas station, or you're going to work, trying to make money so you can spend the money. But like living in an RV or a van in the United States more massively opens up your eyes to the fact that you can't just exist anywhere without paying for it. Like, I'm in a public park right now. Thank God for those, because otherwise it would just be parking lots. And I've even been eyeballed in parking lots just sitting there, like, we're asked to move, like, because you're not going in and patronizing. So you can only be in that parking lot as long as you're going to be spending money on the businesses that are there. Okay, well, I can stay in this park during the day. I cannot stay overnight. I will have to go somewhere. That would be a campground, which I hate. I don't do campgrounds. I know there's other ways. I know there's Walmart, there's Cracker Barrel, there's Hip Camp that's still paying, there's Boondockers Welcome, you're still essentially paying.
Yeah, so rent is just getting really, really difficult to afford here in the US. People are having obviously a really hard time with finding a home, purchasing a home even, and, you know, just even renting a place. One thing I've seen a lot of people say that they're not willing to live with other people, to have roommates, or to, you know, necessarily even live with family. And I think that's something that a lot of people, you know, it might be very helpful to explore. And it doesn't have to be permanent if you don't want it to be that way, but temporarily it can be extremely helpful and beneficial to each other, because whoever's home that you are living in, if you pay a small amount of rent to them, then that's going to be, you know, mutually beneficial.
Now, what I'm about to say may piss a lot of landlords off, but I don't really care at all. But I'm going to read to y'all the qualifications that this person wants for this house. And it ain't an amazing ass house. We're not talking about anything super expensive. The rent, like I said, is $16.95, $40 application fee per adult. They want you to make 3.5 times the rent. Standard, for whatever reason, is 3 times the rent. When majority of Americans don't even make 3 times a $1,600 a month rent. I don't know where people just get up and be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna make this a national standard that people have to make 3 times the rent amount. Majority of people can afford 2 times the rent on a specific basic home like this. But this person is going even further. They don't want you to have 3 times the rent. They want you to have 3.5 times the rent. They want the last 2 years of your W-2s, the last 3 months of your check stub, driver's license or ID, social security card. They want you to make 2 months worth of rent as your security deposit before you even move in, and you have to have a credit score of at least a 670. Off the bat, that disqualifies so many people from being able to be in a home that is decent. Let's add that up, why don't we? Off the rip, you have to pay first month's rent, $16.95. You have to pay $40 application fee per adult, and let's just say the standard adult is 2 adults, right? You have to pay, if you have a pet, which majority of people in Houston do have pets, dogs, it's a $250 non-refundable fee per pet. So let's just say you have a pet. We're gonna add that up, and then you have to make 2 months of the rent to equal the amount of the security deposit. So that's $16.95 times 2. All right, and on top of that, we're not even talking about your utilities and all the things that you have set up. They want you to have rental insurance before you move in. Standard rental insurance is probably about $25 a month. Let's just say that. Before you can even move into this house, sitting in a savings account somewhere or just idle money, you already got to come off of this amount of money.
So, Trump has said the minimum work week should be 32 hours, with minimum wage going up to $25 an hour. And he's saying minimum 32 hours because he wants us to have quality family. Time with our family. He feel like Americans are not spending enough time with their families because they're trying to pay the bills, because they're trying to put food on the table. So if we're working 32 hours, that's for days out of the week that we will have to work. And 8 times 25, that's $200. So within 4 days, you already had made $800. Just for days alone, that's just for minimum wage. That's the minimum wage amount that he's trying to put out. So just imagine if you was working somewhere else, making more and just working 32 hours. How much are you gonna be making? I pray this is something that goes into effect. We the people need this. I've been seeing people saying that $25 is not enough, which I think it is enough coming from 7. 25, so $25 is a big leap from 7. 25, cause just imagine that 7. 25, who's still getting paid 7? 25, what can you actually pay? What bills can you actually pay with $7.25? 7 o'clock 25. That's $58 just for 8 hours. That don't even cover my phone bill. So yes, I hope this does go into effect soon.
I don't know who's buying all this new construction, but it sure as hell ain't nobody I know. I don't know where y'all live, but where I'm at, they're building like everywhere. New townhomes, new condos, new luxury apartments, new shopping plazas, new everything. But this the thing. None of it's affordable. Homes starting at $450,000, $600,000. And don't even ask about the rent prices. Interest rates damn near 7%. Wages ain't moved. Groceries are sky high. But somehow they still keep building. So I keep asking myself, well, who is all this building for? It's sure not for the folks that already live there. It's not for single moms. Definitely ain't for retirees. and not the working class people that are already barely holding on. So tell me, who's buying this? Who are they building for? 'Cause it ain't us, y'all. It feels like we're getting pushed out of our own neighborhoods while somebody else cashes in. Drop a comment if you notice the same thing where you live. 'Cause something ain't adding up, y'all.
This is how much more expensive everything is today versus the year 2000. Childcare is one of the things hitting people the hardest. In the year 2000, it was $6,000 a year for an infant. Today, it's closer to $15,000. Although in higher cost of living areas, I've heard of people paying $20,000 a year or more. In-state college tuition was a relatively affordable $3,500 a year in 2000. Today, it comes in at $11,600, so it's more than tripled, but has the quality of education tripled? $163,500 was the median cost of a home in the year 2000. Today, it's over $410,000. A new car was $22,000 in 2000. Today, over $47,000. A health insurance plan for a family of 4, not including what your employer covers, was $6,400. Today, that same healthcare is almost 4 times more expensive at $24,000 a year. And if you're planning on getting married, that would have cost you about $20,000 in 2000. Today, $36,000, ballooning over 80%. With the takeaway being, you gotta be smarter with your money these days. Invest every cent you can because the cost of everyday living is only gonna go up.
I'm 20 years old. Why is a 1-bedroom apartment $600, $1,600? Like, oh my God, for 500 square foot. Rent prices is outrageous. And then these jobs, they're bare minimum jobs. Like, I'm supposed to be in customer service. Before I was a server, I was working at like fast food restaurants, and nothing against them, love it, but we need them jobs. But why are you yelling at me over a burger? So it's one of those type of things. It's like the work life, trying to balance out school, trying to balance out finding housing. It's just overhyped. Like, I really waited my whole life to grow up and do this.
So I see a whole bunch of people, I don't know if they're real or not, that's why I'm not going to pull the comments, talking about becoming homeless or houseless, however you want to identify it as, and how they're going to choose hospital parking lots because it's safer. And I just want to put this into perspective as a woman in her 50s who lives in an off-road vehicle. You need to throw this ideology of I need to stay safe out the window, because there is absolutely nothing safe about living in a vehicle ever. First of all, the weather. It's about to be over 100 degrees, which means it's going to be probably about 110 in your vehicle. And since most homeless people have a problem with detachment, you're probably hoarding as much stuff as you can from your old life in that vehicle, giving you even less space to live and to breathe. So that is probably the last thing you need to worry about, is where can I sleep that's safe? You need to worry about your health. You need to worry about how are you going to stay hydrated? How are you going to exercise? And how are you going to give yourself the quality of life you deserve? Because just because you're living in your car does not mean you don't deserve things. And if I can tell you one thing you need to master, it is going to be the art of detachment and get rid of all that shit in your car. You don't need it. It doesn't serve you. You're holding on to a life that no longer exists. Get rid of it. It's holding you down. It is going to be so hot. You have no idea what it is like to be homeless when it is hot. So if you want to think about safety, I highly suggest you start thinking about where you're going to live near water and with cooler temperatures. Because driving around the city you became homeless in is a trauma loop. And going from hospital parking lot to hospital parking lot, that's not safety. You're a moving target. That's what you are. And I don't know if a lot of you are in the understanding that being homeless is pretty much a crime in almost every state. Whether it's a crime or not, you are shunned, you are looked down on, the police give you problems, and nobody likes the homeless. So when it comes to, oh, I just want to feel safe, I'm a single woman and living in my car, nobody gives a f. Nobody gives a f. You are now homeless.
So this is America 2025. For millions of people, they feel like they follow the rules, they work hard, yet they still can't afford anything. And for many, many people, they're one emergency away from losing everything because you don't have a savings, you don't have a safety net, you're drowning in debt. What can you do? A lot of people don't know what to do.
So we all know that this economy has gotten really expensive. And I'm just curious. I will tell you what I've redone in my current everyday life. I'm just curious what you've done. So for me, I don't eat out. I haven't eaten out in 5 years. I cook everything from scratch. I have a garden. Now, I had the garden before this administration, but I doubled it this year so that I had more variety and more things to preserve to try to lower costs at the grocery store. I went to my doctor and had them put all of my medications to generics. They don't necessarily always work as well, but I decided I had to do something because my out-of-pocket for my meds was around $1,000 every 3 months, and I had to lower that. So I did that. I did that in February. And then I don't go anywhere for vacations. I do staycations because it's just not, I'm not outputting any money right now. I'm trying to pay off all my bills. So I'm limiting trips. So I try to plan ahead and plan my entire month. So I'm only going 1 day a month to the stores. I do have the luxury of working from home. So that is, you know, I know not everybody has that, but I'm trying to lessen my gas usage, lessen the times that I go places, or if I try to go to places that are closer to home so that I keep that cost down. I have animals. I have 2 chows, and those 2 chows, you know, I went through all of the things that I annually did at the vet and determined which one I thought was a risk and which one I thought wasn't. And a couple of their annual vaccinations I decided I didn't need to do. One is kennel cough. We don't go anywhere. They don't go anywhere besides this house. They're not going to get it from each other because it's exposure to other animals, and we don't go anywhere. Lepto, which is standing water issues. I didn't see that as a need because, again, we don't go anywhere. We live here and there's no standing water in my backyard. So there are things that I did to downsize and redo my costs, trying to deal with this. But I'm curious. I know a lot of you are struggling. I'm just curious what you've done to change the way you do things to try to address the rising costs.
Unfortunately, the standard of living is falling for many people here in the United States. And for those of you that are fortunate enough right now to make some changes, to save money, to put food away for a rainy day, to downsize while you can, to try and store up some provisions for future hard times, to think about the idea of what if you lose your job, start thinking of some backup plans, move in with family if you can. For those of you that are starting to do those things, good for you. If you have extra money, think about storing your money in forms of assets because that is going to save you later on. And something to keep in mind, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So really think about that with where you are storing your money, you know, if you're looking into different assets and things like that. So hope this video has opened your eyes to the reality of what a lot of people are going through right now, because a lot of people think that everything is perfectly fine. And even though things may be fine in your life, it's not for a lot that are around you. The state of the economy is collapsing every single day, and you got to plan for the future. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next video. Take care.
This is the most unaffordable housing market that America has ever seen. Let's use this home as an example, which is the American dream for a lot of people like me and my fiance. We do pretty well for ourselves, we earn in the 6 figures, and we've always wanted this. But then this happened. $553,000 for this house. You may be thinking to yourself, well, that's not so bad. Let me show you. This home that was sold for $553,000, that was listed for $489,000, sold for $337,000 back in 2018. This home in 2025 with a $553,000 sale price, 6% down and a 6.5% rate, gives you a payment of $3,716. Back in 2018 with a $337,000 sale price, 6% down and a 4.5% rate, gives you a payment of $1,800, which means to afford that home today, you need a household income of $230,000. When in 2018, you needed a household income of $100,000. Meaning that back in 2018, a couple with 2 entry-level jobs could have afforded this house. That's the issue that many people like me and my fiance are having. How is it that we have to earn more than twice as much money to do the same things that people used to be able to do just 5-6 years ago? One of the worst parts is we can't get any honesty around the situation. So if you want honest news around what's going on in the housing market, make sure you check out my newsletter in my link in bio called Pissed Off Buyer. And let me know in the comments what's happening with the housing market in your city. Like, follow, and comment for more.